change some stuff, we'll see. I mean, it's no brainer. Should go fine.
Well, I guess we're ready to roll. It is 6 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order and start with roll call. All right, please.
Mark Schneider with Planning and Zoning.
Mitch Lyons, Planning and Zoning.
Jeff Anderson, San Diego Township.
Dalton Conley, Warrock Township.
Francine Larson, Blue Hill Township.
Steve Demmules, Palmer Township.
Terrence Van Dyke, Clear Lake Township.
Bruce Oval, Big Lake Township.
Kathy Sims, Haven Township.
Butch Hass, Livonia Township.
Gary Gray, Sherburne County Commissioner, District 4, and in the back of the room, and if you'll wave, is Brad Schumacher, Commissioner, District 5.
Lynn Watoshik, Planning and Zoning.
Carrie Witcher, Planning and Zoning.
Okay, that's a roll call. We ask that all the members have their mic on, and when you have questions or comments, speak clearly into the mic. I need to state that this meeting is being recorded, both audio and visual, and the Planning Commission is a recommending body. All the procedures from tonight will be forwarded to the County Board for action on October 7th, 2025, which is an evening meeting to be held at 6 p.m., and all comments from tonight will be forwarded to that board. Are there any changes, or has everyone had a chance to review the minutes? And if there are any changes or revisions, could ask for a motion.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll
Second.
Been moved by Steve and seconded by Bruce. All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any changes to tonight's agenda that we're aware of?
No.
No. Motion to approve tonight's agenda, please.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Did you beat me?
I did.
I won't be in the minutes then.
I was gonna say, I have to prove I was here.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we'll proceed with agenda item number 1. Tim Earhart, property owner of 100 Acre Wood Trust, requesting a residential standard preliminary plat of 80 acres. Hope I'm saying that right. PID 30-00006-2000, 14113 277th Avenue Northwest, Section 6, Livonia Township. At this time, we'll have asked staff to,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Lyons.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As you've mentioned, Tim Earhart, the applicant, property owner's 100 Acre Wood Trust, they are requesting residential standard preliminary plat of 80 acres. This is consisting of 5 lots. A little background on this, we can get into the history of, the township in the minutes. This initially was a plat that was submitted, it was presented in front of the Planning Commission on August 15th of 2024. It consisted of 6 lots. These 5 lots that are being presented today, along with a very large lot, was over 90 acres. Since then, it has been withdrawn. The 5 lots are being presented for 80 acres. The remaining will be meets and bounds, so it won't be part of the plat, so there won't be any easements dedicated to the township for the remaining parcel. It'll be left untouched. But as you see, there are many township comments. This was a discussion between the developer and Livonia Township. As it was presented originally, it was not approved by the township for the reasoning that they presented it at the 33 feet for the right-of-way was originally based off the section line. However, in the minutes or in the township comments, the township wanted the right-of-way, 33-foot right-of-way from the center line of the road, which would make the right-of-way a little larger. We do have an exhibit that the developer has handed out showing the difference between the property on the section line and on the center line of the road. That they will probably speak about later. But again, this is one that we have seen. The survey, our county surveyor has seen the revised drawings that show the right-of-way on the center line of the road. All their comment was that the north boundary was changed and the east boundary line has changed, moved approximately 2 feet west. The county surveyors don't have any say in the township's right-of-way. It was just a note that they had made. David Rodell had no concerns. It's not on a county road. There's no issues with the ditch. And 2025 property taxes would need to be paid. That was from Bonnie Jacobs, County Property Tax Manager. But getting back to it, the new proposed preliminary plat now consists of 5 lots, totaling 13.71 acres from a 112.89 acre parcel. The remaining acreage will remain meets and bounds and will not be part of the plat. No new roads are proposed to be constructed for this plat. Again, as we've mentioned, and you are looking at right now, the original preliminary plat showed it at 33 feet from the section line. The new one that was approved by the township is on the 33 feet from the center line. The new one is what's being presented to the Planning Commission. All lots will access 273rd Avenue from driveway locations approved by Livonia Township. Wetland delineation was completed, and that was back in July 29th of 2024. No impacts to wetlands. On this plat, there's not a proposed road going north and south to the east of the property, but township and county staff would like, and we have it as a condition, that any structure built on that lot would be at least 67 feet from the east property line. So for future, if there's a future road connection, that it's going to be conforming and it's not a non-conforming. Again, we don't know if, when it will ever be developed, but that's just something that we need to look in the future for. And then this is in a heavily wooded coniferous tree. It is proposed the lots to be in the wooded coniferous trees. So we do have something in the ordinance for building in fire-prone areas. An example will be the solid portion of a conifer stand shall be removed for a distance of 30 feet around the perimeter of the building. Single well-spaced trees may be left in this buffer area. An alternate passable driveway shall be installed. 2 driveways will allow an escape route to inhabitants of the building, which should one become blocked by fire, and allow for entrance and movement of emergency equipment. And building construction materials shall conform to reflect the relative fire danger of the area. Roofs and exteriors of the building should be of fire-resistant nature. With that, staff is proposing 6 conditions. And with that, I can answer any questions, or the developer is in the audience, can answer as well.
Are there any questions for staff? I have one. Now, you were requiring a minimum 67-foot setback on Lot 5, is that correct?
Lot 5, that is
East line.
correct. It's showing 65 right now on the plat. We would recommend the 67 for any future road that would run along that, because it would line up with 142nd Street northwest to the south if a road did go through. So we are looking at the future that if a road goes through here in 277th, that house is not a non-conforming house.
Wouldn't there be a jog at the intersection then? I mean, looking at the layout, 142nd Street doesn't really line up with the east 67 feet of Lot 5.
Right? Which one?
Well, you're establishing a 67-foot setback on the east side of Lot 5.
Yep.
Which doesn't necessarily, according to plat here, doesn't necessarily line up with 142nd Street.
It is a few feet off.
It would be a jog in the intersection. Wouldn't it be better to restrict 67 feet on the east of the east line?
That is where we're proposing. On the east
That's
side.
what you're proposing? Oh, okay.
Yep, east of the east line, so if a future road does
Okay.
run along that, then
All right,
it's,
understood. I
Okay.
thought you were doing it in lot 5, but no.
nope, just lot 5 on the east property line,
Okay.
along.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? At this time, if we could have the applicant come up and state the name and address?
Am I on?
You're on.
Cool. Timothy Earhart, do you want an address?
Yes.
Yes, please.
10521 Cedar Hill Circle, Villa Park, California.
Thank you.
What else?
That should do it.
Okay.
Are you,
Do you have questions?
yes, one question, do you understand the 6 conditions, and are you able to comply with them? The 6,
So first of all, I'm not the developer.
understood.
I do understand them.
Okay.
I also understand that those are conditions for the builders. Is that correct?
They're conditions for the plat.
Sure. But those are going to be addressed by the builders, is that correct, once the lots are sold?
Yeah, some will be, yes. It'll be the developer and the builder, the conditions will apply to.
Right.
Yep.
Yes. Yes, I understand those.
Are there any questions for the applicant? Hearing none, we'll open a public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue?
I just have a question. Sorry, I don't know.
Yep. You can get up and.
Please come up to the podium, state your name and address.
My name's Cody Edwards at 27284 143rd Street Northwest, Zimmerman, Minnesota. Just on the south side of that corner. I was curious as to plots 1 and 2. Are these being a development like with buildings, or is it just land being sold? I'm just curious.
Mr. Glines?
The intentions are to sell it to a builder, correct?
No, they already have a buyer in mind? Oh, okay.
They would answer that. But
Sorry, I was just wondering if I would have the ability to buy those 2 plots, but,
Lots are just for sale.
oh, okay.
Whatever one who buys that, if they wanna build a house, they can still work with respective agencies and build a house.
Oh, I don't wanna build that, I just wanna buy that.
We are just selling the lots as they stand right now.
Okay.
What the buyer does with that.
Please stand up to the podium and address the questions, please.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Addressing the use of the lots, we're just providing the lots for sale. You may do with the lots whatever you like, as long as Lynn and the county agree.
Okay. Yeah, just nice land behind my house, so I was like, I'd like it.
Fair enough.
Are there any other comments or questions on?
I have a question.
Please get up to the podium, state your name and address.
My name's Marlo Miller. I'm 13997 277th Avenue. My question is, would the road ever be extended 273rd out to County Road 1, or would the access always be through the woodlands?
to,
Mr. Glines?
so the road does stop at the Orac line. That portion to go to County Road 1 was vacated by Orac Township, so the road won't go
It will never be.
to County Road 1, no.
Okay, so the access will always be through the access to the woodlands.
As it sits currently, yes.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else to speak on this issue?
So,
Sir?
Do you want to close?
Tim Earhart again. I have just a couple of things I'd like to read for the record. Give me 5 minutes.
We usually limit comments to 3.
Well, I thought I might read it so everybody could understand it, but I could probably get through it in 3 minutes.
Give it a shot.
Right. Mitch, do you want to put the color copy up? You have a color copy of this. I got this bigger and made it color because I couldn't see the road, and I couldn't see the borders, and everything was too small and black and white and crisscrossed. In number 3 of the county planning and zoning staff comments for the plat, Livonia Township recommended and approved a road dedication of 33 feet measured from the center line of the road as currently traveled. The road is in gray on this. You can see that at the bottom. The original plat is in red, and the new plat that you have currently going to the county is the green lines. Our original plat proposed a 33-foot straight line dedication that mirrors the dedication to the south of the property line in Shiloh Woods. The current road isn't straight. It meanders to the north and the south of the property and section line. However, it's fully contained within a standard total 66-foot straight road dedication. This includes the existing 33 straight line dedication to the south of the current road as traveled that is unused. The township centerline recommendation requires a 14-foot dedication on the north side of the property line beyond the customary 33 feet in lots 1 through 3 approximately. You see where the green line deviates from the red. No reason is given for the necessity of additional dedication. County road dedication guidance, again, subdivision ordinance section 10 is for straight line right-of-way dedications. The township recommendation results in a meandering right-of-way. My attorney has reviewed the particulars and reasoning for respectfully requesting that the board amend the township's recommendation in order to comply and conform with the guidance from the county for the straight line dedications. It's a short letter. I'd like to just read that to you too if I've still got a minute and a half. This is from Patrick Steinhoff. Dear members of the County Planning Commission, I represent 100 Acre Wood Trust, which has submitted an application for preliminary plat approval for a proposed plat called 80 acres. The proposed plat includes 5 buildable lots that front 273rd Avenue Northwest. The proposed plat conforms to all requirements for preliminary plat approval set forth in the subdivision ordinances of both township and county. I write to address an issue that arose during the meeting of the Livonia Township Board of Supervisors. The issue relates to the road dedication recommended by the township for 273rd Avenue Northwest. In very brief summary, the south boundary of the plat is the section boundary of the northwest quarter of Section 6, Township 34, Range 26. The road, 273rd Avenue, is designed to be centered on this boundary. However, as constructed, the road is not centered on the boundary line of the property. To the contrary, the road meanders in certain places so that the center line of the road deviates up to 12 feet from the property boundary at the very western end of the plat. The township has imposed a condition on its recommendation of approval that the trust dedicate 33 feet of right-of-way for the 273rd Avenue Northwest along the southerly boundary of the plat. The trust has no objection to this condition in principle. However, the township recommends that the 33-foot dedication be measured from the center line of the road as constructed rather than 33 feet from the boundary of the plat, where the center line of the road should be
Mr.
located.
Earhart, can you
Yeah.
wrap it up? What is specifically are you asking here?
The trust respectfully requests that the county amend the approval condition recommended by the township so that the 33-foot dedication area is measured from the southern plat boundary rather than the center of the road as constructed.
Mr. Aston, do you have a comment?
Mr. Earhart's representative agreed to the terms that are in this letter, agreed to all the surveying and the survey that we've seen in the adjusted survey. And now after the fact, they are not agreeing to it. I guess we need that area for snow removal, for future utilities potentially. We don't know what's going to be there in the future. And I guess I could go on, but
I can state from an engineer's perspective, and a township engineer's perspective, it would be best to keep the right-of-way centered on the traveled road. But that again is my opinion, but I would endorse or advocate for the township in this case.
Mr. Chair, and the township is the road authority. The township engineer has reviewed this. The township gave a positive comment with the idea that as the road authority, the plans that were submitted were what were approved previously.
And the developer could always rebuild a road and set it on the section line.
He could work with the township on that, yes.
That could be done with the work with our engineer.
There any other comments from the board? Are there any other comments from the attendants?
I have one further comment. My understanding is the purpose of the board here is to provide a package for the commissioners to make the decision. It's okay with me. It's up to the commissioners. It doesn't matter to me one way or another what happens with this plat. It can be green or red. My position on that, I guess, is that maybe it should be the commissioner's decision to make that. And where we're going with this, I guess, is that if the decision is made here and only one plat is offered, the commissioners never see the alternative. And so, I guess I'd respectfully request that our original plat showing the straight line right-of-way be included in the commissioner's package along with the township's approved plat for their consideration.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
the County Board of Commissioners will receive the minutes from this meeting, and they'll also receive the packets and all information that was submitted, so they will receive everything. And this is where the voice of the township is heard.
Yes.
The township.
Here, yes, I understand that. Oh, sorry.
Good.
Sorry, let me come up here. Yes, I understand that. I guess my point was that the final decision shouldn't be made here without the presentation of both options being given to the commissioners.
And Lynn gave you an answer.
Perfect, thank you.
Is there anyone else to speak on this issue? Does anyone else wish to speak on this issue?
Move to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. What are the wishes of the board?
Quick question from a commissioner. Is what's presented here been presented to the township completely?
Yes,
Green and red, or is that just something that's in front of us
we
now?
never had the color, but it was presented to us in this last meeting.
Okay.
Butch, were you going to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to recommend approval with the right-of-way 33 feet off the center line of the paved surface.
The road has traveled.
Road is traveled, yes.
Yep.
I'll second that.
With the 6 conditions?
With the 6 conditions?
Yes.
Yep. Been moved and seconded to approve 80 acres, the plat of, subject to the 6 conditions. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. None. Motion is carried. Thank you for your presentation. Agenda item number 2. The discussion on revisions to the, or basically an update on revisions to the subdivision ordinance. Who's got that one? Mr. Glines.
All right. So we are here to update you on our zoning and subdivision ordinances update, where we're at in the process, the findings we have found. We'll go over the planning commission's role. We'll go over the steering committee, their role, and what our consultants have, again, the findings and so forth. So Here we are, zoning and subdivision ordinances update. Sherburne County has initiated the zoning and subdivision ordinances update to align with the new policies and land uses outlined in the 2040 comprehensive plan that was completed and approved in 2023 and recently updated in 2025. By state law, the county is required to review and update its zoning and land use regulations within 3 years of adopting its new comprehensive plan. So where we're at in June of 2025, the Sherburne County Planning and Zoning has entered into an agreement with Bolton and Mink to update our current zoning and subdivisions ordinances. July of 2025, the Steering Committee and Internal Partners Committee were formed. On August 25th, 2025, we had our kickoff meeting for the Steering Committee and Internal Partners to review the progress that Bolton and Mink has made from their findings and recommendations on the current ordinances and variances. Next Steering Committee meetings are scheduled to take place on October 27th, 2025, and in December 2025 and February 26th, dates to be determined for those two. Where we're at right now, we are in September. This was provided by Bolton and Mink to show the timeline, the tasks 1 through 5, with hopes of being in front of the county board in Planning Commission in March for the public hearing, and then in front of the county board in April. This is our 3-month look ahead. As you can see, we're in September. So with these tasks 1, 2, and 4, you can see task project management, stakeholder engagement, and update ordinances. October will be the project management, the check-in and engagement, holding steering. October 27th will be the steering committee, and update the ordinances. We'll continue working on them.
Mitch, I have a question.
Yep.
Steering committee, is that going to be both the internal and steering
So
committee?
how we do it is that we do the steering committee first meeting, and then we're gonna send out a invitation for the internal partners for that October 27th. So we'd hold that meeting right after for all those that can attend.
Thank you.
In October, on October 15th, Bolton and Mink requested to be at the Sherburne County Association of Township meeting to present. So they'll have a table there beforehand, and then they'll do a short presentation, and then answer any questions. Planning Commission's role, as long as we got you here, we wanted to let you know that Planning and Zoning staff will be updating the Planning Commission on a monthly basis of the status of the zoning and subdivision ordinances update. The key takeaway with these updates are to engage in discussion on the findings that the consultant, Bolton and Mink, along with the steering and internal partners committees have identified. It is important for planning and zoning to keep the Planning Commission informed as to stay aligned on the future of the county, along with you reporting back to your townships on the status and topics that are discussed at the Planning Commission meeting. We're hoping to get out of these is that when you do go back after hearing the findings and any updates, that when you bring them back to the townships, that there could be a discussion that you could bring back to the Planning Commission meeting, and because we're always willing to take comments from obviously Planning Commission, but the townships as well.
It's our best way to, kind of stay connected without going out to the townships every month or sending out a memo. The hope was, you could report back to your.
Can you speak in the mic, please?
Yeah, the hope is that you can report back to your board, kind of what occurred at the meeting, and then if there are follow-up questions that the township may have, we can have that conversation.
And we will be going out to all the townships this fall, and we will be updating you all on where we're at.
Yeah, during the month of October, the zoning office has already contacted all of your clerks, and we will be out at your meetings talking about this as well as solid waste issues.
Mm-hmm. So the steering committee, the purpose of that is to provide guidance, oversight, and support for the zoning and subdivision ordinance update process, ensure that the zoning and subdivision updates aligns with the county's goals and objectives, as well as reflect the interests of the cities and townships in Sherburne County, and facilitate the decision-making processes. The individual roles, attend the kickoff workshop and 2 in-person meetings, present the commission you sit on or municipality you live in, and provide updates to your commission at their regular meetings. Our steering committee members are County Commissioner Danielowski. We have Ike as the Planning Commission Chair. We have Ken Giroux from the EDA, Mr. DeMules from Palmer Township in the Agricultural District and the Shoreland District. We got Dalton and Orrock Township, also Shoreland and General Rural Township. We got Patty Kukowski with Livonia Township for the eastern, again, general rural township. We have Craig Wensman from Bogart Peterson, and we have Marcus Burning with Ziegler Custom Homes. He's a local developer builder. So we have a good group, a diverse group for the steering committee members. So from the first steering committee, the key challenges identified were lot sizes in townships. Some feel are too large, limiting flexibility. Balancing regulation with growth is a recurring concern. Subdivision and platting processes are seen as overly rigid. Accessory structures are limited on small lots. Urban versus rural balance is difficult, especially with wetlands and legacy lots. Shoreline setbacks, particularly in Palmer, are restrictive, came from that. Infrastructure and access issues limit development. Housing affordability and land cost are barriers to attainable housing. Nonconformities and outdated standards complicate enforcement. Key themes from the small groups in the steering committee were lot standards and rural development. Unplatted versus platted lot standards create confusion and restrict flexibility. Minimum lot size, 2.5 to 5 acres, may not align with future land use goals. Suggestions include reducing minimum lot size to 1 acre for platted lots, using density and buildable area instead of strict lot size, avoid spot zoning and enabling intergenerational land splits, addressing wooded and wetland lot restrictions that don't reflect ag productivity. Some other themes were hamlet district and urban expansion, support for mixed use and senior housing in designated hamlet areas, cities in the township, or cities where townships surround them prefer maintaining the 1/40 lot ratios in their boundaries to avoid annexation conflicts, interest in smaller lots near St. Cloud and townships to support growth. Energy production was another key theme, support for an energy production overlay with performance standards. Concerns about small-scale solar maintenance and abandonment, preference for large-scale solar developers due to better accountability. The escrow requirements increased to $100,000 to ensure decommissioning. Look at requiring decommissioning and financial assurances proportional to initial cost. And short-term rentals came from that. There was a strong support for licensing over IUPs. Again, these were all just conversations that were had. Nothing is set. Key concerns: parking, traffic, septic and emergency access, health and safety standards, lodging tax and business registration. These were identified as problem areas: Eagle, Long, Briggs, Julia, Rush, and Hunter Lakes. So far, we have gotten updates from Bolton and Mink of what they've been working on. They have cleaned up the formatting, indexed so easy to search and jump to specific topics, which will be user-friendly. Converted list of permitted, conditional, interim, and accessory uses to easy-to-use table. That resulted in 5 pages of table uses. Converted district standards from Bolton list to tables. Recommended updates to be made are from Bolton and Mink is consolidating like uses and authorizing staff to discern if specific use isn't listed. Staff can determine if similar. Example is the bus service and school bus service. Determine what is allowed versus conditional, interim, and accessory. And we will review updated draft table at the next steering committee workshop. On the right is a matrix table of what they are doing as far as outlining permitted uses in the districts. So land use findings: hamlets expand to enable senior and life cycle housing with mixed use. Shoreline residential, possible modification of regulations for non-conforming lots. Agricultural, key concerns included request to split agricultural lots to allow relatives working on the farm to have their own parcel. Percentage wooded requirement for lots to be split. Right now it's 75%, which above that makes it very difficult to split parcels in the ag district when they're not wooded, and to preserve farming. Energy production, balance solar with agricultural and other needs. And urban expansion, direct growth and designated expansion zones, how to address different needs and interests for different cities. Findings for code updates, again, hamlets, new mixed-use districts for hamlet areas, housing, remove barriers to life cycle housing, senior housing, agricultural and economic development, revise standards and add new business uses in ag and rural areas, review regulations and standards for industrial and commercial uses, energy development, overlay zones or interim use standards for solar installations, Zoning, revisit lot size, revise density standards. Urban expansion, again, this area around the cities, create transitional development standards. That's where the cities had the 1/40 to preserve future expansion. They did analyze the variances that we had for the last 3 years. Most of them were road setbacks, also septic, shoreland setback. So the road, shoreline, and side rear setbacks account for the majority of requests. Septic system variances are also common, obviously due to lot constraints, proximity to water bodies. Big Lake, Clear Lake, Orac, and Palmer Townships have the higher volumes of variance requests. Road setbacks are the most common variance type. Septic and shoreline setbacks are also frequent, indicating challenges with lot configurations and environmental regulations, especially on legal non-conforming lots. So with that, the variance findings recommendations, this comes from the road setback, which is the most issue. These large setbacks often do not reflect existing lot sizes or development patterns, especially in older subdivisions or rural or shoreline areas where lots are shallower or narrower. Recommendation would be a technical issue, discuss potential solutions with county's transportation and public work staff, and also include, townships on that for the township roads. And then introduce context-sensitive setback standards based on lot depth or neighborhood character, potentially allow administrative adjustments for small deviations without a full variance process. So these were all findings, recommendations, obviously takeaways from the steering committee. But other than that, any questions or comments?
Is it possible to email this presentation out to all of us?
Yes, we can do that.
I appreciate it.
Just curious,
Are we allowed to ask questions?
Not yet.
I didn't even know if we could ask a question.
Sure.
I just have two questions. Are the steering committees open to public involvement, or is that a closed session?
So the steering committees are a select group that's closed.
So the public's not welcome there?
As far as a public setting, I don't know if it would be a public.
I don't
It's an
think it's a
internal
public
meeting.
meeting because there's
No.
no decisions made at it.
Yeah.
And I believe the county board appointed the people that are on the steering committee.
So
Perfect. I just didn't know if that was something we could attend or not. And then second, I missed the timeline in the beginning. So when does this review end, and when would any changes that this review determines necessary be implemented?
We are shooting for April of 2026 for it to be complete.
Thank you so much.
question for you, how many of those variance requests were in areas like around Hunter's Lake or Rush Lake or Big Elk, or how many of those Briggs, and were those requests, a lot of them concentrated around those areas? I'm just curious. For the variances and the setbacks, septic and.
So, Hunter Lake, like, Briggs Lake, like Eagle Lake, like Fremont, most of them do have kind of a consistent issue with lot depth. They just don't have enough depth to be able to provide for setbacks to the road and to the lake. So those variances, we don't have the township breakdown in this presentation, but we do have that township breakdown. So the majority of our variants have been in Palmer Township, around the lakes area there. We do definitely get a handful around in Livonia Township on Hunter Lake is one of the areas we see a lot, especially with septic systems.
And specifically, Hunter Lake is obviously on a natural environment lake with
150 foot setback on that lake, and a lot of those lots are about 163 feet deep.
Yeah.
So really doesn't leave you much.
Right. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Any discussion on permitted shed size?
That is one that's on my list of things to be discussed. So we have discussed that individually with the consultant, staff concerns. We continually get requests for buildings bigger than what our current ordinance allows. That wasn't an issue necessarily 10 years ago. It wasn't as prominent. I get requests almost, definitely weekly about the, size limitation of 1,800. We've had those numbers for a number of years. So that is one area that we will look at exploring.
Okay.
Accessory building
Just
size.
Hasn't been brought up yet.
Nope, not in this. So staff, it was one of the items that I did bring up to the consultant, because it tends to be an issue. 1,800 square feet is a popular building size. It's our 2.5 acre. But it seems like one of the more common requests that I'm getting is for 2,400 square feet. I've had explanations why, but there's a lot of requests for 2,400 square foot buildings. The 5,500 max threshold, I'm not sure where we'll go with that, because once you get above 5,500 square feet, you start changing the building code definition of the structure. It falls under a different class of structure. So yes, those will be on our radar.
Okay, thank you.
You've got a very diverse group on the steering committee, but not all townships are representative. Do they direct their comments to Bolton and Mink or to planning and zoning?
So, Mitch is the project manager, so I would, say, Mitch should be, the person they direct their questions, comments to. As we proceed forward, we will be asking the townships for direct comments and feedback on different things, and that will typically specify if it should be directed to Bolton Mink or Mitch, but I think Mitch will typically be the
Yeah, it would be
point of
the
contact on
point of
township
contact.
comments.
And I did send out all the cities and townships initially a survey,
Okay.
letting them know, Bolton and Mank and myself as the contact person. With the diverse, we did want to have some people from the ag, like Ike serves two purposes, planning commission and, Clear Lake Township. So
Right.
that kind of overlap there. We got Patty with Livonia Township, Orrock with Dalton, Steve with Palmer. And so, and Rayanne with Big Lake Township. So
Yeah.
a lot of overlaps, but yeah, I would be the point of contact.
Right, because I'm just saying that most of the townships are all going to have different thoughts, ideas, comments in regards to it. I think I just want to make sure that all of their voices are heard.
And when we go out to the townships, we'll present in, we'll let them know, they can provide feedback.
So there'll be,
Myself.
yeah, and there'll be multiple check-ins with the townships, because we are looking for a lot of guidance on different things. So,
Okay.
we'll officially be going out, talking about kind of a big picture. This is what we're doing in October. This has been one of Lynn's projects, go out and talk to the townships about our bigger projects. So we'll be out in October talking to the townships, covering kind of this scope of work. But when it really gets down to it, when we start looking at shoreline residential and we start talking about potentially altering setbacks to road right-of-ways in those non-conforming, around the lakes where we have so many non-conforming lots, we really do want to make sure that we're getting the township's guidance on that.
Can you just make sure that all of the commissioners in their associated townships or cities get the dates and stuff that you're going to be attending, so that if they want to, they can show up also?
Yeah.
I think for me, the size of my district anyway is
Pretty big.
pretty big. So, yeah, lots of townships and cities, so it would be good if I got a list of when and where.
I'll make sure I send an email out to each commissioner tomorrow as to which townships we'll be at on what dates.
That'll be good.
Any other questions for staff?
You have, may I?
Yeah.
Whoa.
whoa.
Okay.
I can't say mouse.
Yes, you can. Short-term rentals, is that like a VRBO?
Yeah. Airbnb, VRBO.
Okay. All right, and so then it would be a license instead of can you just tell me what
So
in there?
that's the discussion right now. Some feel just a regular license, which doesn't have a public hearing. It's just you apply, you meet these criterias, you can have the license. IUP would be,
Annually.
and yeah, it's renewed annually. IUP, it's a one-time, you get a public hearing so the neighbors can come, voice their concerns, and then a license is renewed annually after the IUP has been more or less approved.
So it says support for licensing over IUPs, is that because it's an inordinate amount of work to keep those IUPs up?
No, it's just, do you want the public hearing? Do you want to?
That was the feedback of the steering committee.
Steering committee. Yeah, this was from the steering committee, so the people in the room
And
were.
and the potential reasoning, could be, I don't know if they really specified exactly the reasoning why they preferred a license over an interim use permit. I wasn't at that table for that conversation, but, the complexity of an IUP, sometimes like when you look at like a solar project, right? If they meet all the criteria, we can't reject them. So you bring a whole bunch of people from the public here objecting to something, they want it denied, but that project complies with all the conditions of our IEP. You have this public hearing where everyone's thinking that, oh, it's going to get denied because we're all in opposition to it. But if they comply with the performance standards, it's issued. So then the county commissioners start getting lots of correspondence to them saying, well, you shouldn't approve this project. And the commissioners are in a position where, well, it complied with it. The licensing gives us the authority. It's a little bit easier to potentially revoke or remove that license
Okay, that was
for
my question.
violations
That was my-
versus the more in-depth process of revoking an interim use permit. Some of the reasons that I've thought about on this on
Well,
IP versus
and I think that the reason that we're looking at a license is to take off the burden on these committees, these commissions. And there's no reason to have it an IUP, have it come through here, and then have it go through the commissioners to have that approved. Or it can be just a,
If it has to meet a certain set, and if it meets it, it goes anyway.
Yep, and a big part of it, we want to make sure, when we issue an IEP, that we are monitoring for septic conditions. We think about our lake lots, there's not a lot of space for those septic systems. These systems really do get abused in that short window of time. Making sure that we have good septics, making sure that we have good performance standards for parking of vehicles. We just talked about how tight those roads are, so making sure we had adequate space there. And then to deal with the nuisance factor too, to be able to kind of revoke a license if they have 3 strikes, if they're a bad operator.
And it's an educational piece too, for the property owner that wants to rent it out. Here's your septic, here's what's allowed to be flushed, don't park on it, here's parking, you have smoke detectors, so forth, so, yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
See what this one was.
That about wraps it up, Mr. Glines.
That's it.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.
I thought I was.
So how has the river been going up and down?
Thank you. You bet.
Just exactly as you described.